Hello everyone, welcome back to Matt's Investing Corner. Today we're diving into something that I personally think could be one of the most exciting opportunities for long-term investors: lithium. You know, the metal that powers electric cars, phones, and even the giant batteries to store renewable energy. And I believe we might be at the very beginning of a next boom. So you might think, why does this topic matter? Well, in the last few weeks, tensions between the US and China have flared up again, and this time over something you might not see in the news every day: critical materials. These are the raw ingredients that the world needs to build batteries, electric cars, and clean energy systems. China is the dominant player here. They mine and refine a huge share of these materials. The US doesn't like depending too much on China for those kind of supplies. So it's starting to push back with new tariffs and new policies to strengthen its own supply chain. And that's back and forth has made one thing very clear. Countries are realizing how valuable these materials are, how dependent we are on it, and without them, we simply can't power the future. So why is lithium so important? Well, among all those critical materials, lithium plays a starring role. It's the heart of the battery, what makes your phone recharge, what keeps electric cars running, and what helps store renewable energy from the sun and the wind. A few years ago, lithium prices went crazy high because everyone rushed into the electric car scene. Then, as demand cooled down, prices dropped sharply. Right now, they are much lower than they were in 2022. But there's an interesting part. The world still needs a lot more lithium. Car makers are still planning to build millions of new electric vehicles, and energy companies are building massive battery systems to store clean power. And lithium isn't something we can't just make in our lab. It has to be mined, refined, and processed, and that takes time and investment. That's why I believe we could soon see a new wave of demand that pushes lithium to higher prices. Maybe even to new all-time highs of prices that we saw in 22-23. So my focus for today are two companies that I am watching, and I've already positioned myself by buying some shares. So I started digging into which companies might benefit the most if this next lithium boom happens again. Two stood out for me in my research for different reasons. And the first one is Albemarle. Ticker symbol ALB. This is the biggest US company involved in lithium mining and production. They have mines in several countries, and they are one of the few players that can handle the whole process, from digging it out of the ground to producing the battery materials. A couple of years ago, when lithium prices were sky high, Albemarle stock went all the way up to about $325 per share. And now it's trading below the $100. In my view, that drop isn't because the company suddenly got worse, it's because lithium prices came down. And when those prices recover, Albemarle could be one of the biggest winners. In front of me I have the graph of Albemarle Corporation, ALB, in my trade vision. What you can see is the following, is that since April, May, there's an upward trend going of this stock towards previous highs. We can see that the 50 and the 100-day moving average have crossed again, and that it's trading well above both moving averages. Another thing that we can see is that the volume on the lower graph has been growing since compared to the earlier months of this year. That means more and more volume, means more companies and people that have started to buy this company. If we look at and zoom out, we can see that the company has been trading at much higher levels in previous years. If we completely zoom out and we even include 22, 23, we can see that the stock was once traded at levels of 325, and that was one of the highest levels in which it was traded. Currently, as you can see, it's only traded just below $100. Where can this go to? Well, in case the demand for lithium continues to grow, EV cars, lithium batteries, etc. continue to be needed for renewable energy storage, for phones, for you name it. There will be a structural higher demand in the coming years as the population grows and we need more batteries. This will cause for a high demand of lithium, and this will further push the price of Albemarle up in the next coming years. I strongly believe that this is a very strong strategic position that I have taken in my portfolio to see this company grow further as it will go along with the demand for lithium. And as long as there are no other new breakthrough technologies, lithium will be further required, and thereby the company price of Albemarle will further grow. Where do I see this? Well, maybe this will grow to double the price in the next coming year or so. Will it reach the same highs? Time will tell, but as long as the demand will further increase, this company will have a very sunny future. So would I put a target price on this for the end of the year? I wouldn't be surprised if Albemarle would be traded in the range of levels of 140 to 150 at the end of this year, 2025. Where would this be in 2026? I don't really see why this company would not go towards levels of $200. This is my rough estimation. End of the year, by a range of $140, $150. Following year, I would put my estimate on the $200. And that's basically assuming that the demand will continue and the company will further grow in value along with the price of lithium. The second company is a smaller but hidden gem in my eyes. The second company is much smaller but super interesting. It's called Lithium Argentina, ticker symbol LAR. They own mining rights in what's called the Lithium Triangle, an area between Argentina, Bolivia and Chile that holds some of the richest lithium reserves in the world. These guys are sitting right on top of some of the best lithium resources on Earth. As production expands and demand keeps growing, companies like Lithium Argentina could see huge benefits. It's a higher risk play than Albemarle, but potentially much higher upside too. Here you can see the Lithium Argentina AG, LAR, in a graph from Trade Vision. What you can see here is that the company, the trading data is not, there's no trade data before February 2025. So since that time, you can trade this company. You can see that it was traded around $2.50, and then it went slightly down to even below $2. Since June, July, you can see a significant upward trend starting, and it starts to trade between $3-4 now. If you look at the last couple of days, we can see even that on the Monday 13, there was a significant plus of 20% of the share. So what you can see already in the last couple of weeks or 2 months is that the volume started to increase significantly. More and more companies and people started to buy this share. It's moving above the 50-day moving average and the 150-day moving average. Volume is going up. There's no earlier resistance of where the company has traded. So I see 4 green lights in my investment strategy of buying this stock. I see that the demand inevitably will be growing for lithium. And this company is just so well positioned on very high valuable lithium fields where they can pump out brine. And this is something that they will make a huge amount of money with the moment the demand for lithium continues. And I wouldn't be surprised if this company would be traded by the end of the year in the range between $10 or $15. This means that your initial investment could multiply by 2 or 3 times if you time this well. So to see the bigger picture, the way I see it, we're standing at the edge of another energy revolution. The shift to electric vehicles and clean energy is still just beginning. We're ramping up. and lithium will remain a key part of it in the next coming decade. Supply is very limited and the demand is expected to keep on rising. And the companies that can actually produce lithium, not just talk about it, could be sitting on something very valuable in the next coming years. And just to be clear, I'm sharing my personal opinion, not financial advice. Investing always carries risks and you should always do your own research. You should not just follow my blind advice. But if you're curious about how to invest in the building blocks of the future, this is one video you don't want to miss. So both Albemarle and LAR are two companies I find highly interesting. I will continue to track the news, any fundamental news that relates to two of these companies. Obviously, I will track the price of lithium and likely I will create some content in the near future about how these companies are further performing when quarterly earnings are coming out. If you like this type of content, then please leave a like, that really helps the channel. Subscribe or leave a comment if you have any suggestions of any in-depth analysis that you would like to see. I hope to see you on the next one. Take care, bye-bye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Matt's Investing